So it's time to go back to the world of Sicario. Another joyful trip where everything is fun, rainbows and sunshine. Just kidding, this film is as bleak as fuck.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Starring, amongst others, Benicio del Toro, Josh Brolin, Isabella Mona and Catherine Keener. Directed by Stefano Sollima, off of a script by Taylor Sheridan. This is my review for Sicario, Day of the Soldado. So this is a sequel to 2015 Sicario, and we lose Emma Blunt, but we do keep Benicio del Toro and James Brolin. Emma Blunt was kind of the heart of that movie. She was the good person there. So without her, we're left with a couple of really bad people. So there's a terrorist attack in Kansas City, and it's believed that the perpetrators have been smuggled across the border from Mexico. Josh Brolin's Matt Graver is assigned with going across to Mexico, and he takes Alejandro, played by Del Toro as well, with him to try and stir up some trouble between the cartels. They do this by kidnapping one of the leader's daughters and blaming it on the opposing cartel. And the plan is that these two cartels will then kill each other and wipe each other out, only things don't go quite according to plan. The leads in this film are fantastic, like, phenomenally good. We know how great Josh Brolin is. I mean, we've seen him in practically every single film so far this year. But he builds on what he did in the first one and just, again, delivers an absolutely stunning performance. Isabella Mona plays the daughter who's kidnapped by Del Toro and Brolin's characters, and she blew me away in this. She's only 16 years old, and she's given some really heavy stuff to work with. Some really dark moments, and a lot of moments that show her in absolute terror, and she completely nails every single one of them. I don't think there was a moment in this film where she didn't impress, and for somebody that young to handle material this dark, I'm not overly familiar with her. I don't know what she's done in the past, but I can't wait to see what she does in the future. I hope that she's noticed from this and she's given some much more prominent and much larger roles going forward in bigger movies, because, yeah, star there. Only bested slightly, I think, by Benicio del Toro's character. Alejandro, which is really fun to say, Alejandro. He was in the first movie as just a dick, really. It's been a while since I've seen the first Sicario, so there may have been more layers to him. But yeah, he was just a horrible guy, and we didn't, I don't think, learn that much about him in that film to kind of paint him in any different light. And again, I might be wrong, it's been a while since I've seen it, but what I took from this one the most is how much attention was given to that character to explain how he is the way he is. The certain things that he's gone through, the losses that he's had in his life that's driven him to the point where he is just a hardened killer. Somebody who, in a pretty cool sequence, admittedly, just completely unload a clip on somebody laying helplessly on the floor. Like, he's a guy who doesn't really care what he has to do, he'll just do it if he has to do it. But this one does take some time to give him a little bit of backstory and to allow us to even sympathise with him a little bit, which after what we saw him do at the end of the first movie, I didn't think I'd be able to do with this guy. But Del Toro's performance of him and the way this character's written, it humanises him a lot more. It gives him a lot more layers and a lot more depth, and it really impressed me. Del Toro is one of those actors that's always dependable, and this is perhaps the best movie that I've seen him in quite some time. Like, absolutely fantastic performance from start to finish from him. Much like the first Sicario, this film looks and sounds incredible as well. The music on this one was scored by somebody else. The person who did the original one unfortunately passed away, so they've replaced him on this one with somebody whose name I can't pronounce. Hilda, go Google it, is the name of this person. I'm not even going to try. But the score on this one borrows a lot from what was used in the first Sicario, but adds to it. It gives it its own flavour while still sounding like it's a Sicario film. The best use of a score in a film, the best use of music, is when it heightens the tension and it complements the scene. Or if you think the scene would be lacking somewhat if the music wasn't there. That's, for me, when music is used in the best possible way, and it absolutely is here. There are so many sequences where the music's just playing along and just really amping the tension, really drawing you into what's happening on the screen. Fantastic score. Cinematography for this one, Darius Wolski, a name I've probably just butchered. Sorry, sir. Again, he wasn't involved in the first Sicario movie, but much like the music, this does still look like a Sicario film. He puts his own unique touches in it, and from time to time, like, he gives it his own spin, while at the same time keeping what worked about it before. It's still a visually beautiful movie, just like the first one. It's one of those that I can't wait to get on 4K, just so I can see how amazing it looks. I haven't got the first Sicario on 4K, actually. I do need to get that. I have it on Blu-ray. But yeah, instant 4K purchase for me, just so I can see the surroundings, because where this film's set and the locations that are used, it's just breathtaking stuff. It looks really, really, really good. I also like that this didn't shy away from really focusing in on some of the hardships that people are going for. So this hones in a lot on what it's like for people if they have to cross the border. Not just going through the normal way, but sneak across the border. What they have to go through, sort of how they have to pay for it. And it doesn't, as I say, it doesn't shy away from that. It spends a good amount of time with these people as they're trying to do that. And there's just certain bits that really just affected me on it. Like there's just a simple line about how parents and children have to be separated as they travel. And it's just, imagine putting yourself in that situation. And that's what this film does really well. It allows time for it to breathe, and it allows you to imagine what it's like if this was actually you, if you were the one having to go through this. And yeah, a really nice way of doing it. It affected me in ways that I wasn't expecting it to, just in small moments like that. And I will say as well that Day of the Soldado didn't go in quite the way I was expecting it to, which I should know now, because Taylor Sheridan's movies are all great. Like, they're all really good films. Hell or High Water is just absolutely amazing. But his scripts are always very layered. They always take unexpected turns for me. They always end in a way that I wouldn't expect them to. And this does a very similar thing. This has the characters going off in a different trajectory to the one that I was expecting them to. And yeah, it's nice. I like that his scripts still continue to surprise. Even this, I don't think this is one of his stronger ones. Which does bring me nicely onto some of the things that I didn't like about this one. The pacing of it is a bit of a chore at times, particularly the first half. I think the second half of the movie is a lot better. Once things really start happening, once the story gets going, I find it a much more enjoyable watch. But that first half of it was just such glacial pacing for quite a lot of the time, which isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes a slow pace can be good. Sometimes it can allow things to kind of build naturally. I do have to say that there was times in sort of the first hour or so of this where I was bored, where my mind was wandering a little bit. And that's a bit of a problem. That's a problem for me that's down to the script, because the actors, the performances are captivating, but there's only so much they can do. I get the tone that Sheridan was going for with this one, because his films were all very similar in tone, and the other ones aren't exactly fast-paced movies either, but this one felt it a lot more. Which is also strange, because this is much more like an action movie at times. The first Sicario wasn't. It had action moments, of course, yeah, but it didn't feel like an all-out explosion sort of movie. And this one kind of treads that line a little bit. There are moments where you have rockets being fired and giant explosions and so much in the way of gunfights just left, right and centre that, yeah, it does feel almost like it's turning into a bit of a generic action film from time to time. It's not all the time. Admittedly, the film still does keep a lot of what made this first Sicario great, but it just leans into that a little bit too much for my liking. But overall, Sicario Day of the Soldado is a film that I'm glad I saw. It's definitely one that's worth watching. It doesn't hit the same heights as the original one does. It doesn't hit the same heights as most of other of Taylor Sheridan's movies as well. Like, it's definitely, at least for me, one of his weaker ones. But at the same time, the performance is really lifted up. The way it's shot, the way it sounds lifted up, and how brutal it can be as well really do give it that added little boost. So, not the perfect film, not quite as good, but still definitely worth a watch and definitely worthy of your time. I'm going to give Sicario Day of the Soldado a 7 out of 10. Have you seen the movie yet? If so, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. What's your favourite Taylor Sheridan movie? Mine is Hell or High Water. Absolutely love that film. But yeah, let me know yours as well. Let's chat all things movie. You can follow me on Twitter at JoePJulians. Hit like, hit subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you do want to see more of them. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.